Hi, in this video we will talk about decision-making instructions. The programming of a computer is based on what is called an algorithm. An algorithm is a sequence of steps that the computer must take to perform a certain task or thing. We also use algorithms in real life without us even knowing it. Suppose we walk on the street and we want to cross the road and we reach a traffic light. At that moment, there are three factors that will influence our decision. If the traffic light is red, we will stand still and wait. If it is yellow, we will be careful, and if it is green, we will cross the street. This thought process can also be attributed to a computer based on a condition under which our computer will execute various possible instructions. Suppose we have a scanner that will ask the user to enter his age, and depending on the answer, the computer will inform us if the user is an adult or a minor. We will have a scanner reader equals new scanner system.in. We will have to import the scanner class from the package java.util, and we will display a corresponding message. System out println please enter your age. The age will be encapsulated in a variable int age, which will be equal to reader next int. If the computer decides that I'm an adult, I want an appropriate message to be printed. You are an adult. How can the computer decide this? Using the if statement. We will write if and open two parentheses. Between those two parentheses, we will have our condition. The condition is that the age is greater than or equal to 18. So we will write if age greater than or equal to 18, then we will open a block of code. We open those brackets and then press enter. The closing bracket was automatically generated. Here I will display the message. System out println you are an adult. Let's display a message at the end. We will write system out println outside my if block of code, in which I will say the program is over. We will run the application. The program will ask us to enter our age, 17. My condition has not been met. My age is not greater than or equal to 18. Therefore, the block of code between those two braces was not executed, and my program went ahead and printed the program is over. Let's run our application again. If we enter an age older than 18, we will enter 19. Now, if I press enter, the program will show us that we are adults. My condition that the age is greater than or equal to 18 was evaluated as true. Therefore, the code block between these two braces was executed. Furthermore, the program went its own way and printed the last message. The program is over. This is the if statement. In its parentheses, we will always have a condition that will return a boolean. This condition will be either true or false. If my condition is true, then what I passed in this block of code will be executed. It's that simple. Otherwise, it will not run and move on. If my condition is false, then this block of code will not run and the application will move on. Suppose I would also like my program to print if I'm a minor. We could do another if statement. We could write if age is less than 18, then I will open another block of code in which I can print system out println you're a minor. Let's run the application. If we run the program and enter a number less than 18, let's say 16, we will have this message printed. You're a minor. We did this logic using two if instructions. The if statement can also have an else branch, a branch that will be executed when our condition is evaluated as false. Instead of having another if that checks the other condition, so that my age is less than 18, I will delete this And I can pass an else branch to my if. I can write else, open again a block of code, and here I will move my system.out.println instruction. Let's run our application. We can see that if we enter a small age, let's say 12, the program printed that we are a minor. On the other hand, if we enter, let's say 22, then you're an adult. The else branch was executed if my condition was evaluated as false. Let's comment our block of code. We will leave just the scanner. Let's enter from the keyboard the color of the traffic light we talked about at the beginning of the video. We will write string color equals reader dot next line. If our traffic light is red, then we will stay put. We will write a check. If the color would be equal to red, I will write color red, and you will immediately see why I wrote it in this format. Then we will display a message. System.out.println, we are waiting. You can see that inside my condition I did not use the operator equals equals. Why? I will only use the equals equals operator when I want to check the equality of two numeric values. If I have to check the equality of two strings, I will have to use a method of the string class. That is the equals method. My check will look like this. I will write color dot equals, and I will open parentheses. This text red will be moved here. My instruction will read as follows. If the color of the traffic light is equal to the text red, then I will print we are waiting. Before running the application, we must display a corresponding message at the beginning. We will write system.out.println, please enter the color of the traffic light. I will run my application and I will enter red. We can see that we are waiting. If I had used the equals equals operator, then this would have not worked. Let's test it. I will enter the same text red, and we can see that nothing happened. So we will leave it as I initially wrote it. We can see that based on our traffic light, our decision will be made depending on several factors. I will have three different cases in which the traffic light will be red, yellow and green. We can also chain several conditions, one after the other. Here, at the end of this block of code, I can write else if and open parentheses. Here I will pass the other condition. If the color of the traffic light is equal to yellow, then I will open another block of code in which I will print we are careful. We can also add another else if, parentheses, our color is equal to green, then we will print a corresponding message, system.out.println, we cross the street. Let's run our application. I will introduce red. My first condition was evaluated true, so the code I had in the first block of code was executed and the other else if conditions were not even taken into account. Let's run again. If I enter yellow, the message we are careful will be displayed. The first check was made in the if statement the first time. Our traffic light was not red, so the condition was asserted as false. If the condition was false, our compiler will proceed to the next check. It will be checked if the color of our traffic light is yellow. If it is indeed yellow, then the second block of code will be executed, and the last check will not even be taken into account. Now let's run again. Also, let's enter green. Doing so, the message "we crossed the street" will be printed. The first time, the compiler checked if the traffic light was red and it was false. Therefore, the first block of code was not executed. It moved on to the next check. It was yellow, not. Therefore, the second block of code was also not executed. We moved on to the next check, which this time returned true. My traffic light was indeed green, so this block of code was executed. Let's run our application again. If I enter anything else other than green, red or yellow, I'll have a problem. If I enter orange, I can see that my application was finished without even showing me any messages. Here I can write an else branch at the end. I will write else and open a block of code. Here I can print a system out print line: you did not enter a valid traffic light color. Now let's run my application again. Double quotes here. Let's run my application again. If we now run the application and enter any other value than red, yellow and green, my program will enter the else branch and will tell me that I did not enter a valid color. If I enter purple, I will be able to see a message. After that, my program will end. Java is a case-sensitive programming language. I will run my application again. This means that if we run the application again and enter the text red in capital letters, we will be told you did not enter a valid color. Why? The text red written in capital letters will not be equal to the text red written in lowercase. Our equals method will return true if the two texts are identical. Besides the equals method, we also have another method called equals ignore case. Let's change this everywhere. Now I will run my application again. If I write red in capital letters, now my program will display the correct message. To make a recap, when I want to determine the equality of two numbers, I will use the equals operator. If I want to find the equality of two strings, I will have to use the equals method. I will write the first text, dot equals, in parentheses to which I will pass the text with which I want my initial text to be compared. This method will return true if the texts are identical. Also, in the case of strings, I will have the equals ignore case method, which this time will not take into account the way our text is written. In the next video, we will do some exercises in which we will use the if-else statement.